Hey everybody, ChristopherOdd here. We are taking a look at War Hospital today, a game that I tried out last week, and I spent 6 hours straight playing it. That does not happen to me a lot. This is an absolute blast. It's also sort of happily depressing. Like, there's a lot of really tough decisions you need to make about soldiers that are going to live and unalive, you know? And we are playing as a general that's come in to oversee the operations of this hospital. A lot of the times in these types of games, you're playing as the soldiers, and that's cool and everything. Now we're playing as, like, what I think are the unsung heroes of the war. And we have to manage patients, we have to manage our front line, we have to upgrade our hospital, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to explain all of this to you in detail. It's just, there's a lot. And so I'm going to try to explain things as I'm doing them. This is probably the most important area, the casualty clearing station. I will add too, the game has a very good tutorial that kind of builds things up, but I want to show you as much as I can in this video. So here we go. You're going to go to the casualty clearing station all the time to make decisions on your different patients, okay? So right now we only have one surgeon. Patients are going to start flowing in here all the time. And there's a couple things on here you need to pay attention to. This is their rank. This is their current state. It ranges from good to terminal. This is an indicator of how severe their wounds are. One gunshot, 2 gunshots, or 3 gunshots. 3 is more severe. The cost of the operation in bandages here is 4. You can see we own 40. We have to manage that resource as well. This here is the amount of time it takes to do the operation. This is how difficult the operation is. And this is the chance of failure. It's 6, so you can probably guess what's going to happen. But you just slide that over here. That's all we're going to do for now. And then you can see a denied folder down here. We'll get into that in a second, okay? So, we've made that assignment. That's fine. But nothing's going to happen. Why is that? Well, we need medic teams to get our patients around. So we need to come in here and assign medics. So right here, we've got a couple of preferences, actually. They always operate in teams. So this group would prefer not to work in the cemetery. Great, you can work in the casualty clearing station. Would prefer to work in the advanced dressing station. Great, but that's currently locked. So you're also going to work in the casualty clearing station. And here would prefer to work in the advanced dressing station too. Too bad, you're going to the cemetery. We'll talk about that in a second. So what does this mean? This means that they're going to go get the body. They're going to bring it there. We're going to do the operation. They're going to move them between all the buildings, okay? So that's step 1. Step 2, we've got nurses. Now, right now, there's 3 different spots they can work. The casualty clearing station, the operating ward, and the rehab center. In the casualty clearing station, a nurse serves the purpose of extending the amount of time that a patient will stay in a certain state. So it'll take longer for a patient to get from good to terminal if there's a nurse in there. In the operating ward, they increase the chance of successful surgeries. And in the rehab center, they increase the speed of rehab. And we'll talk about that shortly. This person wants to work in the casualty clearing station, so we can do that. And so would this one. But, you know, again, we can't do everything that everybody wants. What's the benefit of doing this? What's the benefit of meeting their kind of requests? It's morale. That 3M in 24 hours is all about this morale at the bottom. You lose the game if you get your morale to 0, okay? That you lose. To win the game, you just survive and you hit different checkpoints that will come up, and we'll talk about that shortly. We also have engineers, okay? Right now, my engineers can't do anything except for build stuff. There's no slots here. So I'm going to immediately start building something. Let's go into the pharmacy slot here, and we want to build that. So let me go to the camp improvements and see about creating a pharmacy here. So let's choose the pharmacy. It's going to unlock bandage production, and it's going to take an hour to do. We're going to assign this guy. If I assign 2, it goes a little bit faster. So let's do it. That's going to be really important to get us up and running very quick. Now, all of those things that we just assigned, you can see them all heading out to those buildings to do their jobs that we've assigned them to, okay? So you can see they're bringing in a body. So we've got another body here, and we're just going to throw that into the queue. Now, it's not just coming in here to throw stuff on the cork board and like hope for the best. we're going to get various different types of soldiers in here, some with more severe wounds, some that are terminal versus being more stable, some with higher or lower ranks, some difficult operations versus easy ones. The amount of time it takes surgeons to do these operations is very important because you can see here, this guy's well rested, but he won't always be. He's going to be exhausted soon, and we have to manage all of it, okay? So while that's happening, I'm going to go to the train station, and there's a couple of things that we can do here. Yes, we can look at the schedule and see what's coming in. The train always brings in a little bit of food and some resources for us. We use the food to feed our soldiers, or our staff, I should say. And we use the resources to build things, and they get used pretty much all the time for all sorts of things, okay? But we can also hire personnel here. You'll notice at the bottom in this bar, on the far right, we have what are called, I want to call it the correct thing, staff points, okay? Now, the important thing to know about staff points, and something that is different from a lot of games like this, is that staff points are just granted from HQ requests or from other random events that happen. You can't just go and buy people whenever you want. You're limited by what HQ is giving you. And they're going to make random requests throughout the game. Maybe they need alcohol, or maybe they need certain type of medication. And you're like, okay, I can or cannot fulfill that based on my current production. But if you do it, they'll give you these staff points. It's really quite important, okay? So, what we need to do is hire some important people right now, right away, to get us up and running. First of all, I'm going to hire a surgeon. Pay attention to this cost. Currently it's 4. The next one's going to cost 5. The more you have, or the more you hire, the more expensive the next one becomes. I'm going to hire another nurse. You can see it was cost 2. It's going to become 3 now. So I'm spending 6 out of these 10. I'm also going to get another medic team. They're cheap. That's great. And I might even snag... You know what? No, I'm not going to get an engineer. I'm just going to hire a medic team, a nurse, and a surgeon just to get things flowing a little bit better. And engineers, we can get by with a couple for now. But we're limited, right? So we're going to have to do some upgrades to unlock more nurses, more medic teams, etc. Anyways, let's do that. We've ordered some personnel. If I go into ordering resources, now we can order food rations. We can order surgical supplies, chemical medicine supplies, trauma supplies. These are just used to treat different types of conditions. Now, early on, we're only going to be dealing with surgical stuff, so I'm not going to order chemical or trauma stuff early. But I will take some of our forms here and get us a decent amount of surgical supplies so that we don't have to stress too much about it. I'll maybe drop a little bit here. Let's go to spending 6 of these. It costs 2 per click. So I'm going to get 15 surgical supplies here. And let's order these. Now, if we look at the train schedule, you can see on here when these things are coming in. So here's my personnel train that's going to bring in my new hires. After that, the bandages that I ordered. And then you'll also notice that the train's always bringing in some resources and some food. So just keep that in the back of your mind, okay? So we're letting time run. We're building the pharmacy. That's this improvement up here. You can see that timer. And this little icon is showing the surgery that's occurring on Amory Harper. Let's see what happens.
Sir, we lost this patient.
That always happens with the first patient, okay? It's designed to die. You remember when we looked at the patient card, the difficulty of, what was it? Let's check here. The chances of failure, yes, were maxed, and that's always going to happen, okay? However, now we've got another patient here. Let's throw this one in, and I'm going to actually prioritize this patient, okay? They're a higher rank, which usually means that when they come out of the rehab center, which we're going to check once we get somebody successfully operated on, they're going to be worth more in a few different capacities. There's different ways that we can assign our soldiers afterwards, and we'll get into that. Also, this guy is stable. That is the best condition. Goes from stable to good down to terminal. And actually, is that true? I think I may have just lied to you. Yeah, no, it is. Good is better than stable. So we could put this guy first But I don't know. I think they're both going to be fine. Notice we're also exhausted there. We have to manage that. So we're going to bring over this little rest tab for our surgeon. And we're going to say, after these 2 patients, take a rest. Because if somebody gets exhausted, they go down for a long period of time and you cannot use them for anything. Okay? Now, pharmacy construction is done. Let's check this out. Well, what can we do now? Now we can put people in here to make our own bandages at a rate of 1.7 per hour for 20 of these resources. These guys were tired, but like it's fine. Bring them in here. Eventually we can unlock shift work, so we can start assigning people to like 12-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts. Becomes a lot easier to manage, but right now I gotta manage everybody. I gotta bring people in, bring people out. So we've assigned medic teams, we've assigned nurses, we've assigned engineers. What about scouts? Well, we don't have those yet, so we'll have to unlock them later. You do have time in the bottom right here. I like to run it at max speed generally. Yeah, okay. At the cemetery, you can see that medic team that was assigned there went and got that dead body. They're gonna come over here and they're gonna bury it, okay? Now, the cemetery needs a medic team. There's no one to bury the bodies of the dead. Did I not? Yeah, they're here. They're here. They're gonna be fine. They'll bury them, I promise. Okay, so what else is happening around here? Well, we've got a notification at the top. These are very important that you address these. Every once in a while, you can have a modification to a surgery. And it'll give you a brief description. It says the patient's leg is infected. We would normally need to amputate, but it seems that he responds well to the medicine, and we're gonna have high hopes that it'll be enough to save his leg. So, if you had the amputation tools, you could say, let's amputate it, but he'll no longer be fit for duty, which we'll talk about at the rehab station. However, we have some other options here. We can give him a shorter rehab time, but it's gonna cost a little bit more in the bandage department. It's also gonna make the surgery a little bit easier. It's going from a 3-star to a 2-star in difficulty. Or you can just say, fight it off using normal medicine. But it's going to make it more difficult. I'm going to take this. A shorter rehab is very nice for reasons that we're going to get into shortly, okay? Let's let this keep going. We have a scout tent over there, which we'll get into, an engineering depot where you can make food rations or alcohol and a few other things. We have an advanced dressing station where once we get access to the trenches here, you can see people coming into this and then they later get transported to the CCS. You'll notice this bar at the top. You're going to start to see some events that happen here from time to time, and those are going to be battles that are upcoming. And you're going to have a basically army rating or combat power rating that's going to determine your success chance in those battles. It's going to determine, am I going to get more or less casualties from that? And that's something you're going to have to manage in your rehab center as well. So let's see what's going to happen here.
Sir, operation was successful.
Operation successful. Medic team comes over. They're going to bring him to the rehab center. Beautiful. Okay, let's talk rehab center. This took me a while to wrap my head around when I first started playing. But you will always want to make sure that you have a nurse in there. Oh, our new nurse came in as well. Deadly. So they would like to work the 3rd shift in an 8-hour shift system. They're not going to be happy for a while because getting to that 8-hour shift system is a long-term goal. Okay? It's fine. Whatever. So for now, I'll put you... You both want to be in the casualty clearing. Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. You can't both be there. I need somebody in each of these, ideally. Anyways, that's fine. And then our medic team that we hired as well. Let's bring you to maybe the cemetery. I think that's fine. The other option we could do is we could... Let's do this. We'll give these guys a little bit of rest, okay? We'll let them chill out until these guys get tired, and then we'll swap them. Because everybody's running at 24 hours right now. It's a little bit more manually involved, all right? So what's happening in the rehab center? Well, this is where managing your healed soldiers becomes a resource, okay? What do we want from them? We can send them back to the trenches, and this is going to increase your combat power, which is going to be this rating up here once we start getting combat. And you need that because that's going to reduce the amount of casualties that are coming in. But that means that you can't send them to HQ for military drafts. Military drafts are the currency that you use to order supplies. So that's very important. You also use these to build camp improvements. Very important. You also means if you send them to the trenches, you're not getting morale for them. And if you get to that low state of morale, you lose the game. So just remember that. That's very important too. So when you're making a decision of where you should put them, a couple things to consider. You're looking at this combat power rating. If these 3 chevrons are empty, that's actually ideal, because it means that by the end of the rehab, which is completed already, these will fill up, okay? You can also get 3 military drafts from them. That's the second icon. Or you can get 3 morale from 3% morale improvement, which is pretty strong as well. So you're making these decisions to see what you want. I'm going to focus on getting these military drafts for now. So let's put that soldier in there. And you can see here, they've been rehabilitated. They're out, and we got our military drafts for it, okay? We also now have, if we look in here, we see our second surgeon that we hired is now ready to rock. So this is going to help us a lot with not overworking our surgeons. In the tutorial, you start with just 1 for quite a while, and they get tired really quickly and stuff, so it's a bit more to manage. But yeah, anyways, now we have 2, so we can just start stacking this and go from there. We do have something bad that happened though. The patient shows symptoms of infection and blood in the urine. I fear his kidneys may be damaged. I'd like to perform an additional examination. So, if we say just do it by the book, it's going to make it more difficult. Or we can say keep the same difficulty, but extend the operation for an hour. And then you're impacting the tiredness or exhaustion level of the surgeon. Something to keep in mind. Now, you may be wondering, why do you have the doctor card and the patient card down here? Eventually, these doctors and everybody at your base can get traits that benefit them in certain ways. And you may want to make these decisions based on certain traits that they have. For the patient card, you may want to look at them and be like, okay, well, they're kind of like a low ranking officer anyways, like it's not a big deal, and just make a more educated decision on it. For now, we're just going to say do a longer operation. Not a big deal. That's totally fine.
Sir, nurses reached the hospital.
Okay, so we, as I said, are going to spend a lot of time in the casualty clearing station because they're constantly, people are getting injured, right? And that makes sense. Let's set this over here, and you can see they're going to be exhausted. Let's set that. Bada boom, bada bing. So far, nothing too crazy in terms of prioritization that I need to make yet. But sometimes you're going to get a VIP patient that's coming in. You're going to have a specific request from like headquarters to handle it in a certain way. And they're usually going to be like terminal, right? So you might have this huge lineup and then a terminal VIP patient comes in. You got to restructure the whole thing. I also want to point out this folder at the bottom, denied. Sometimes you're so overwhelmed with soldiers, you can't save them all. Maybe you don't have medicine. Maybe there's just too many and you can't get through it in time with the amount of surgeons that you have. You could just leave them up here and they'll die off and they'll not get attended to, right? The problem with that is you take a big morale hit when they die like that. If you are denying them, you're choosing to let them die, then you take a smaller impact on morale if you make that decision on your own. Tough decision, but it does have to get done. Now, let's look at our camp improvements. Couple of things we're going to want right away. I would like to hire an additional nurse, and we're currently maxed out. So I'm going to spend 2 of our papers from HQ, 4 hours and 100 resources to get more nurses. So I can increase that by 3, which is huge. I'll take one of these guys out of making the bandages and assign him to building that upgrade, and we are set there. Now, in that screen, you may also have noticed, but this is the medic line, this is the nursing line, this is the engineering line, and this is the everything else line. But there's no surgeons there. So how do I increase the number of surgeons that I have? Because we're at our capacity right now. Over here in the surgery ward, you can unlock the surgery ward enhancement, and that unlocks an additional surgeon slot. It's very nice, it takes a lot of time, it's very expensive. Also, right now, I only have 3 recruitment points. Next surgeon's gonna cost 5. So like I'm nowhere near that, and I can't just get those points. I have to wait for HQ to give them to me. So I'm not gonna build that until I know I can use it. What I am gonna build though is an X-ray machine. That's just gonna give us a flat improvement to operation success by 25%. Let's go ahead and do that. So far, to my knowledge, you cannot queue things up in there. I do kind of wish you could do that, but you also need to assign an engineer to do the thing, so I don't know how that would actually work anyways. But yeah, okay. So let's let that happen. I'll give you a quick little preview of the trenches here. Not much happening here because we don't have any combat coming in, but stay tuned because that will happen. You can see how that impacts things. Okay, how are our resources overall? Overall, not too shabby right now. Morale's at 49%. That's got to keep an eye on that. If it starts dropping, you're in big trouble. And I am talking over some of the comments that they're making, but if you listen to the comments, they are essentially telling you, oh, the operation was a success. Oh, there's no more food or space for food rations in the warehouse. This is capped out here. So that might be an improvement that we want to make. If we look at, is that under production? Yeah, I mean, this would take a long time, 25 hours, but it would be good because when we're at max here, we're just kind of wasting that production, which feels a bit bad, honestly. But I need 4 of the tickets to make that happen. So what I'm gonna do is go in here. This guy's starting rehab. They're gonna cap out at 2 combat power, 2 military drafts, or 2 of the 2% morale. Let's go here. I'm gonna hammer military drafts early. I feel like in my first playthrough that I was doing, I was really behind on that. So that might be a little PTSD, but I'm gonna put these in here. You can also wait until they're done this rehab time before you assign them, but if you know with your, like where you want them to go, then cool. Nurse room construction is finished, so I'm gonna immediately hire another nurse here. It costs 3. The next one costs 3 as well, which is good. That doesn't seem to go up for a bit, so let's bring in another nurse. The nurses are very, very important in my experience. Okay. Patient experienced internal bleeding. We're able to stabilize him, but his condition is critical. Now, I don't have a medical drip, so this is not open to me. So I just have to do this, okay? It's just gonna be a slightly more difficult mission now. And that's fine. We'll deal with it. No problem. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, well, what now? Like, what is next? Well, we're kind of building our engine right now. We're building up, like, we're getting our soldiers in. They're getting healed. They are being turned into some type of resource. And now we've got more people. Okay. So, these guys are both decent. They're in good condition. Let's do that. We'll switch his rest over there. That's fine. Now, we're not currently making any surgical supplies because these guys were doing that building, right? I'm gonna wait until they're done. I think maybe the next camp improvement I might want is gonna be... What should we take here? There's a whole bunch of great options. The shift system I like. I think I'm gonna take this now. And, this guy's only resting for like 1 more minute, so let's just throw him in there.
Sir, operation.
And then when his rest is done, we'll put him in there. But that'll help us with a little bit of the micromanaging if we get that shift system in place. Okay, so I'll put you in here too. I'm not too keen on sending people to the front lines until I know what kind of combat rating I'm gonna need. But now we are out of hiring points. We're out of the military drafts. I can't order anything. But I can get these when these guys are done rehabbing. Which brings me to another important thing. We've got our extra nurse here now. If you start stacking these, you can see the effectiveness down here. So it's much quicker.
Nurses are on the way.
That's going to kick in once that nurse actually arrives. Everything happens in like real time. Boom. So now we're going through that much quicker. The problem is our nurses are going to get exhausted because they're literally working 24 hours.
Dispatch from HQ, sir.
Okay.
Sir, our defensive line has been broken. Multiple casualties. The 36th Division is in retreat.
Oh my, that is terrible news.
Another bunch of those poor bastards will be here soon. I'll better check our stocks.
What about the hospital?
No, sir. HQ...
Okay.
Sir, patient is cured.
Shift system is online. It's telling us that we have no more space for freight in our warehouse. This is maxed. Our food is pretty much maxed. So with our next few upgrades, we need to get into the extra warehouse storage here. So we'll get that once these guys are done. You're a +3 to everything, so I'm going to put you here as well. We're just going to focus on getting
Sir,
rich right
survivors
now.
from our forces in the north.
Okay, and look at this. All of a sudden, boom. You can see there was a battle, and now we've got to heal people. So this ranges from stable to good in this group. We have a couple of different ranks here. Let's go with a setup like this. Now, this is a 4-hour operation, 3 difficulty. This is a 2-hour operation, 4 difficulty. So there's a balance between these two things to determine how tired it's going to make the surgeon. But if you start to layer these guys on here, then you can get a sense of when you need to rest. You'll also get a sense of if somebody's not going to make it, a black skull will come on saying they're definitely going to die if you keep it like this. You're also going to see down here, we don't have enough bandages to make this happen, to make all of this happen. So
Lieutenant Colonel Angus McFidley.
I'm gonna move this guy back into the pharmacy, and this is where the shift system comes into play. You can set a 24-hour shift, which it was on, or a 12-hour shift. This is gonna mean that they have less likelihood of collapsing and being exhausted. The nurses can have the same thing, and I will do this actually for the single station nurses. I'll maybe keep it like this. The rehab, I like having them because it just gets the soldiers out and gets my resources a little bit faster. It doesn't get the operations done faster if they're in the operating ward. It just increases the chance of success. It doesn't get the casualty clearing stuff done faster. It just makes sure that their condition doesn't degrade. So I like having them in here, and then you can toggle which shift they're on, either 1 or 2, showing the hours. So this way, oh, you know what? Let's do this. I'll put you in the casualty. Oh no, because you both like it. Forget it. So 1 on mornings, 1 on nights. That's fine. I've got engineers, 12 hours so he doesn't get exhausted. I have 1 floating. And then these guys, let's go ahead and put into here, and we'll swap this, and here, and we'll swap this. So we're not gonna have a lot of people dying right now. Maybe for that reason, let's just do this. We'll have 2 people work, 2 groups during the day, 1 at night, and the cemetery. Let's just do the cemetery at night for now. The advanced dressing station we have to unlock.
My orders are to set up a temporary line of defense north of here, but I will not be able to do that with our limited forces.
Okay, let's go into the camp improvements here. We're gonna go to production. We're gonna take warehouse enhancement. It's gonna take a long time.
Instead, how can we help, Lieutenant Colonel?
Heal as many of the soldiers from the front line as possible.
How many do you need?
As many as you
All
can
of them.
provide, I'm afraid.
So here we go. See this?
Intelligence reports suggest that Germans will launch an attack
Top right.
on our position on the 8th of June. Probably around noon.
What about reinforcement?
There will be none. Not until the 21st of June at least.
So now we've got some
Given
timelines.
the best intelligence.
All right. This is our first big goal, survive to the 21st of June. I won't be able to do that in this video. You can see that's quite a few days away, and the days don't just fly by. Over here, what does it want us to do? I feel like it might want us to build a memorial, if I could guess. But that's just what I recall from the tutorial, because this isn't giving me anything. Now, let's pay attention to what's happening up here. Too few. This means we do not have enough people sent to the front lines, which makes sense, because we've been sending people to get these military drafts, right? For money, essentially. Let's go into the rehab center now, and let's put this person in the trenches. It's at least I'm gonna get 2 combat power out of this. I cannot get 3 because it's blacked out. And that's fine. It's better than nothing. but I am incentivized now to get these guys through. Okay, here we've got some interesting decisions to make. This guy has a very serious wound. Isn't going to be around for long unless I operate on them now. Is a rank 2 out of 3, so it's kind of like, you know, less of a priority. But if I put them in here, I feel like this person could still survive, and that would be fine. You're stable. You can go at the end there. Set your rest period to here, so you're probably okay. We can keep an eye on it. This would be somebody that you could consider denying. The reason we might want to do that here is because it's very expensive, this surgery as well. So I may actually do that just to kind of show you how that works. I'll deny. Now, denying, again, if they die in here or on the operating table, bad. Denying, less bad in terms of the morale impact, okay? Now, I am making surgical supplies. The problem is I'm not making enough of them, okay? I can't hire an additional engineer to make more because I spent all of our hiring points. So what I'm going to need to do is rely on our military drafts to order some. Let's bring that in. That's going to come on this train at 12:08 p.m. That'll help us a little bit, and we can kind of manage things that way. I feel like the cemetery, if I'm not mistaken, is asking me for a memorial to build. But I don't know where that is in here, because in the tutorial it tells you to, it just makes you do it. Shift system. You can see over here is the triple shift system. That's pretty cool, but we have to get through all of this first. I also need an advanced dressing station. That's going to unlock some additional things for our medic teams to do. Rehab speed there. We also have chemical wards and trauma wards. So in addition to surgery, we have chemical treatments we need to deal with, trauma treatments we need to deal with. You need to hire trauma specialists and physicians, not surgeons for that. But until that starts happening to us, I'm not going to do it. I could get into like the amputation tools. This gives us another choice to make at the clearing station if we want. I'll actually go ahead and do that. Well, okay, let's wait for that upgrade to finish. Or I could take the guy to the pharmacy because we just ordered a bunch of stuff. Yeah, let's maybe do that. This is the push-pull of the game, right? Is like, how do we manage all of these people all of the time? And it's not easy. It's not easy at all, actually. Okay. Let's do this. It doesn't cost us anything. That's fine. We do have something here, though. Shorter rehab time or decreased cost. You know what? Because we were behind on this, I'm going to take... no. I'm going to take shorter rehab still. So you can see now, this initial one had popped up, but then we got that note saying, hey, we're going to have an attack tomorrow at noon, essentially. This is a timeline. We have enough to deal with this fight, but then we're going to have casualties, and we're not going to have enough for this one. So we still want to bolster our trench line in that respect. What's happening in here? Now, I am playing on a pre-release build. I've noticed them patching it, like, aggressively. And sometimes these notifications aren't as clear as they could be. I do feel that that's just a patching thing and that they will fix that. This thing here, this little icon with the nurse, though, that's for real. So that's saying that this nurse is exhausted. We want to get her out of here before she collapses, because that's pretty bad. So what I'll do is when that happens and they need some rest, I'll bring in somebody from another shift, and I could switch this to 24 hours, but I won't. I'll leave it like that. And we'll kind of manage it manually for a bit. In the cemetery, it will keep a track of everybody, but I know there's a memorial that you can build. I just don't know where that is. It's not a huge deal. Okay, what's happening here? I think this is happening because this is halted. But let's send you. You're going to be we're 3 at the combat power to the front line. So now we got a strong rating here, and we're going to be a good rating for this one. We should be fine. I think all this means is I don't have a nurse in here right now. Is that what's happening? Yes. because they're on the nights. Okay, I'm gonna put them on days, get them in there now. You're exhausted, you're resting. I'll bring you in here. You don't get to have your full rest today.
Nurses are on the way.
Okay. Do I just not have anybody assigned here? Is that the issue? Oh yeah, that's the issue. My bad. Okay, let's assign you there. That was the issue. So it is working as intended. Everybody in here looks good, thankfully. I actually wonder if I can save this guy. No. See that black sign there? Means he's toast. If I would have prioritized him earlier, maybe, but then I had to make a whole bunch of other trade-offs.
May I have a word with you?
Yes, you may.
I was approached today by one of the civilians.
So, that was the guy that we denied, so we had to take a slight decrease to morale.
That stayed in the city. A man named Theo Blank. According to his words, he customarily made a
here we
tombstone
go.
for each person buried in the cemetery.
Well, that is certainly sad.
Well, Mr. Theo...
So normally I'm not skipping all the story stuff. I just want to show you as much as I possibly can. And you can see like this is kind of like drinking from a fire hose if you didn't go through the tutorial. But anyways, they want to build a memorial and we'll do that. We'll let them do that. That's fine. Casualty clearing station. We've got a nurse that is exhausted. Let's bring you out and you can go in here. Casualty clearing. You want to work on the third shift of an 8-hour. No preference, no preference. Okay, that's fine. We'll swap that out.
Nurses are on the way.
And I at least want to show you what the combat is. Now, we're not doing any combat. It's just simulating the events. Let's put you here and you here in that order. That's fine for me. Both of our doctors are exhausted. Not collapsed, though, so it could be worse. Let's start getting some more of the forms here. I don't send anybody to morale unless we're hitting like 30%-ish. Maybe even lower, but once you're hitting 30 morale, you're in a pretty tough spot. I do need to definitely keep up with ordering surgical supplies for now because my engineers are doing a bunch of other things like building stuff. I'm gonna put you in here now as well to finish that warehouse production so that we don't have those caps, that we're not restrained by our space. Still 17 hours left on that, right? But they can only work until they're tired and then they peace out. So now you see all the shifts changing.
Sir, Operation Warsick.
And we're gonna have to manually adjust some of these things if we want. So rehab center, let's put you in now. And we'll keep you on the opposite shift. That's fine. We'll run these guys 24 hours.
Sir,
I just like to have things moving. But you could do it in theory a little differently. Maybe what I do is let's do these shifts. Okay. So they're on nights. And actually our advanced dressing station is up now. So what is that? Let's look up here. Wounded and dead from the trenches are brought here by medic teams to later be transported to CCS in the city. That's going to happen a lot after these battles, right? So let's bring in somebody there. Just have it on daytime stuff.
I am happy to report that Mr. Blank.
So we finished the memorial, and if we look at this, we get a nice screen of like literally everybody that died. It's very discouraging because there will be a lot of people in there.
Patient arrived.
Okay, so things are starting to ramp up in here pretty well. I'm going to prioritize this guy based on his rank. Same there. And you don't have to do this. You can make these choices like depending on the perks that your surgeons get. You may want to put people with longer operation times in because they're a little bit quicker. It just depends on a whole bunch of different factors. Okay, so these guys, they're kind of duds, you know? They're kind of duds. So you get +1 to something. What do we get? I feel like I'm getting +1 to something. It's best to just get the military drafts versus the trenches. But, you know, who knows? Okay. What do we want to upgrade next when we start getting some income?
Patient is cured.
Well, good question. Maybe some of our additional operating procedures could be nice. Some housing could be okay. I think the rest time improvement is nice. That just keeps our people out there for a bit longer. So let's wait till we get 3 and then we'll go into that. I may want to unlock scouts here too, but Do I want to? Oh, okay. This gets unlocked further in the story. Okay, we're gonna have to wait for that. Fair enough. But essentially, if I don't get to explain it to you in this video, scouts go out into like this world map view, and there's different objectives that are out there that take different periods of time to get resources, investigate things, go and help people. And then you bring your scouts back home. They bring back all those resources and stuff. You can supplement your scouts with dogs and other spies and stuff like that. So it's pretty detailed. At the canteen, there's not a lot that you can do, but let me maybe, while we have a bit of downtime here, let me walk you through some of these areas. So we've already looked at the personnel assignments, where you can do your medics, nurses, teams, engineers, and scouts. But then you also have staff, and it's the same thing going across the top here, okay? Staff overview. This is just telling you what everybody's doing. You can get a bird's eye view of that, okay? Patients overview, same idea, just for patients. Where are they? They're waiting for the operation. They're in the operation. Okay, your camp improvements, your request resources, so you don't have to go click on the train. You can just do everything from here if you want. Hire personnel, same idea. Train schedule, the warehouse summary, what do we have in there? I mean, you can see that all down here too, but you do get a little bit more of like an idea of how much is coming in, which is cool. The cemetery view, and then the choosing of the rations. Now this is important. Right now, our rations are set to normal, no change to morale. Okay, if you go to half rations when things get tight, then morale starts decreasing, which leads you closer to a game over. You don't want that, right? You don't want that. I'm telling you, it's bad times. But sometimes you're gonna have to go there. You also have this extra rations thing that can help in certain scenarios, but you have to unlock that in the camp improvements area. So let's just speed along here.
Patient is cured.
That's good. Was it 3 that I needed? Or was it, where was it? It was housing, right? Yeah, it was 3. Okay, let's get these guys. I'll put the tired guy in here. Let's see.
Sir, engineers reached the construction
So this is
site.
the warehouse. This is the rest time reduction
Sir,
upgrade.
Doctor is starting a new shift.
Doctor's starting a shift. We don't have anybody else in here. Everyone's going to be fine. Yeah, people are going to be fine here. I'll set these rests. I mean, we are probably going to get
Patient
more.
is cured.
Patients cured, good. A little bit more income there. The biggest challenge that I had in the in my first, when I sat down and played for 6 hours, was I didn't hire the correct personnel early, and it really set me back. I couldn't manage my nurses. People were collapsing all the time. I didn't get into like the 12-hour shift thing fast enough.
Sir, patient is cured.
So that's, you can see that that's going pretty well here. Now, just as I said that, this nurse got exhausted, so that's fine. I'll take somebody out of here. We'll switch to a 24-hour system for a bit, and we'll let that rock and roll.
Sir, nurses are on the way. Sir, operation was successful.
This is a game that is, how can I describe it? It's like,
Operation was successful.
it's equal parts stressful as it is relaxing. Like, there's not a lot of heated drama and action that's right in your face, but the management is constant. And you're flipping people back and forth. The goal is to have a fully automated system, right? But you just physically can't do it. You're constrained by the number of people you can hire, their levels of exhaustion, and all that kind of stuff. I do need to get my guys making surgical supplies, but I also need these things being completed. So I'm gonna order some more surgical supplies here because that's all I can do. I'd like to order more, but you know, let's put both of these guys in to get the military drafts as well. And now I got a lineup. Okay. Let's turn this off. You can see not enough medicine. That's a problem. So this guy's a higher rank, very cheap, pretty quick surgery. I'm actually going to slot him in right there ahead of the other guy. Sorry, buddy, you got bumped. That's how it is sometimes. You can go here. Maybe I don't even need to set that for now.
Sir, engineers reached the construction site.
And they're going to be on hold until those bandages come in the next train at 2:40. And it's only not a lot. It's not a lot. So we're gonna probably have some patient deaths here. So far, we've only had 3. One was the one that I couldn't control. Oh, nice. We've got an event here. So we have received a request from HQ. Several bodies have been found nearby, likely hit by an artillery strike. HQ asks us to provide them with a burial. If we do, they'll grant us staff permits. Yes. Whenever you can get the staff permits, absolutely. You can say not the right time and accept it before the timer goes. But yes, we're going to lose a medic team for 12 hours, but we're going to gain those requisition points. So who am I going to lose? Well, 12 hours. Let's send the cemetery, guys, because I don't plan on anyone dying. Except for the fact that I have no... put you in here. Except for the fact that I have no medical supplies, you know.
Nurses are on the way.
But if I get these guys out of here, I can order a whole bunch, which means I have to keep my nurses in there. And I don't mind having a nurse in the casualty clearing as well, because we do have a pretty big backlog. And so that's keeping them from dropping in their statuses, like their conditions. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I could swap one over. Let's do it. Let's get out of the casualty clearing, go to the rehab center. And then when you're done, I can put you in the casualty clearing, which you like anyways.
Sir, nurses are on the way.
And this way we can just pound through all of these rehabilitants. I'm just gonna go money, money, money right now. Morale is good, so no issues there. We'll put you in there now after your rest. I like too though when you put something in, like it doesn't just immediately start working. They have to take that little travel time to get over there. Here comes an attack. It's gonna do a simulation of what's occurring. Now, do I wish that this was like a higher res, cooler cinematic of these battles? Yeah, I do, but it ultimately serves its purpose. It's not really that important, other than to say, hey, you gotta survive this, and based on how that goes and how your rating is, that's gonna determine how many additional people you need to now operate on. So it's saying here, we're handcuffed because we do not have enough medicine. I'm gonna try to get that fixed ASAP with anybody that gets out of this rehab center. And we're at a good rating for this next fight. Could it be better? Yes. Will it be by that time? Possibly. Okay, so now our warehouse has been improved. That's great. I'm gonna put our engineer back into the pharmacy. 12-hour shift is fine. And I'm gonna order more of the surgical supplies. Now, imagine you're in this situation 4 hours into the future, and you've got physicians and trauma medical specialists that also need these specific supplies, but you don't have enough alcohol to make the chemical supplies because you need that, but you also need to produce the alcohol on your own. So it's this constant like balancing effect. You guys know how it is. These games are pretty intense, and I'm just scratching the surface here. But I do think this has given you a pretty good idea of what this game is all about. I highly suggest you check this out. This is not a sponsored video. I really enjoy this game, and I think it's really fun if you like management games. And it's a nice twist on like we've seen the soldier stuff. We just played through a full game called Last Train Home that gives me very similar vibes to this, but you know, it's all soldier based and you're out in the battlefield doing actual combat. This is different, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So anyways, check it out. I'll have links down below for you. If you guys want to see more of this, then let me know. I'd be open to making more videos on it because I'm having a super time and I really like it. But it can also just be my own little personal plaything on the side, you know? Don't tell anyone I said that. Okay, bye now.